everyone, I'm Holly and I'm the maker here at Missouri River Soap. In this video today, I'm making Montana Lilac soap. Now, I was getting ready to edit this video and I realized I never filmed an intro. So as it is, this soap has been made, cut, cured, and it's already been going out as samples. I've not listed it at this very moment that I'm filming the intro, but it should be available very soon, if not available already by the time you're watching this. Now, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I kind of like purple. So I love this Montana Lilac soap. I love how it turned out. Now, in the video, I'm a little uncertain about how it turned out. I'm a little uncertain about the fragrance, but oh wow, the snow. I don't know if you can see the snow. It has just started blowing and it's coming off all the trees. So I actually do really like how this batch turned out. It just smells amazing. And the fragrance does not have that chemical note that some lilac fragrances can have. So even though it's a bit of a blend with some other like spring florals, spring summer florals, it's just really good. So I just love lilacs. And when I was growing up in Montana in the 90s, we did have a amazing lilac bush. I think we had several of them, and they're very large and the blooms were just like poofy, and I have loved lilacs ever since then. Now, when we lived in Kansas City, Missouri, I was able to grow a really epic lilac, and it was just the most wonderful thing. I can't tell you how much I love lilac. But when we came back to Montana in 2017, just for vacation, we came at the very end of May, right before Memorial Day weekend. I remember we were coming just north of Missoula and we started going through like Awry and Ravalli, and the lilacs were everywhere and they were amazing. I feel like I kind of burst inside a little bit because I just loved it so much. And so the Montana lilac has just, I love it so very much. We did plant some lilac here this past springish summer when they were available, but unfortunately the deer also really like my lilac, so we'll see what happens this year. All right, so if you want to check out this soap, check out my website at moriversoap.com. You can find me on Instagram at moriversoap and Facebook at Missouri River Soap. Okay, I think I sped through that. Missouri River Soap. This was a bit of a tough batch, so I hope that you enjoy watching this video, and without further ado, let's make Montana Lilac soap. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is add in the coconut milk, because I'm keeping this one vegan. Looks like my coconut milk was a hint chunky, but we'll get that all blended in, it'll be fine. I've had people say thank you for still offering vegan things, and then I have customers that please offer more tallow, and others that say please offer all the things. So all right, so I'm going to get this coconut milk. I'll blend it into the base oils, and my base oils are a mixture of olive, coconut, castor, and cocoa butter. It's just my favorite. And now we're going to add in the lye solution. I actually had to wait to make this soap today, longer than I wanted to. Everything was still rather warm because after our major cold snap with my last soap video I was making at the time, the strawberries and champagne type, then we went and warmed up a lot. So we've been almost 50 and it's been warm in here, but I did go and put it in front of the window and it cooled off very quickly. All right, I'm going to bring this to emulsification. So I'm going to be splitting this off before I color it, because lilac can be a really finicky fragrance oil, and I'm trying a new one today, so I don't know what to expect. Last time I used the one from Brambleberry, and I do love that. I just did not happen to be needing an order from there right now, and I was ordering from Candle Science, so I did go with their fresh lilac. So we'll see. It's not a straight up lilac, but it's beautiful, and you definitely get lilac vibes. All right, I think this looks good. I just wanted to double check that it wasn't going to break apart here out of break emulsion. If you saw my last video, the strawberries and champagne type, you know that things went a little bit awry. And I talked about how I could do it different next time, so that's what I'm doing. I actually calculated my fragrance oils to be separate instead of going into the pot and then separating it all out. So I want some for like a white and for a darker purple. The main batch is going to be a straight up purple. That's heavier than I remember it being. Oh my goodness. I'm going to try an in the pot swirl today. It's been a little while since I did one of those. Alright, so I know that when I fill up these pitchers, it pretty much will hold, it's pretty much a 5-pound batch of soap into like my regular single loaf. So I was able to accurately divide that. So into this first pitcher is going to be titanium dioxide. I don't have much here, but you know what? I'm going to pour that in last. I like to add my micas. So this first one is going to be like my alternate purple. And I have mixed, let me look, I have them in my windowsill. I've mixed Jam Session from Nurture Soap with Flash Dance from Mad Micas. So I was trying to bring more of a pinky purple to this one, add a little bit of a magenta hue to it. It's still going to be mostly purple though, and that's what I wanted. I cannot wait for lilac season in Montana. It's spectacular. It's amazing and wonderful. And then we're going to do, this is just Purple Vibrance from Nurture Soap. And that's pretty typically my go-to purple. I love this purple. But I do tend to mix like Orchid and Jam Session and Cheshire Cat. And I like a lot of purples. And I just mixed those with a little bit of my batch oils. And so since it was warm in here today, they didn't solidify or anything. When it's really cold, it will solidify. Whoa, that is a potent purple. My goodness gracious, I didn't even use these colors at the level I could have used them at. I just did this all wrong. This was supposed to be white. The main purple was supposed to go over here. Oh, good golly. Good golly. Okay, so new plan. We're going to put this purple fully into the main pot. No. New plan. This purple is going to go in the pot. This is my Purple Vibrance. I just got to thinking about Montana lilac season and I'll let my brain go awry. So this is going to be fine because I was debating my white option and whether I really wanted it to be like white as a swirl. I don't see a lot of white lilacs, so this will work. This will work. Rolling with it because there's not a lot else I could do. So this is great. I do love this. This is kind of what I was hoping for. There are like 2 different kinds of lilacs that are prominent up here, and you have more of a bluish leaning lilac, and then you have a pinkish magenta leaning lilac. It's still purple, but it is, yeah, it's leaning. It's different. All right, so now what we're going to do is add this back in because I done gone lost my noggin. What in the world just happened here? I did not see that in any way. You know what the problem is? I was feeling wildly confident today. I was like, I am just doing a great job. I'm kicking butt, I'm taking names. It's going great. And see, the soap has to put me back in line. All right, so now this is a little bit less. So let's see how much more I can spill. Good golly, there we go. This is looking good, but I feel like we should give this go ahead and give this a stir. I swish it up on the sides because this is uncolored for the most part where I poured it. So I need to swoosh and get that up there and fixed. All right, let's just do this thing. I'm trying to make sure that there's not texture to my titanium dioxide. It looks pretty good. All right, so in it goes. So now this is just going to be a light purple version. So we're going purple, purple, purple. Oh, that's pretty. There is still a little bit of texture to that titanium dioxide, unfortunately. I have done all the things, and this batch is just of titanium dioxide that I have from Nurture Soap is just a little bit grittier than I prefer. But I am going to be blending this here with the fragrance, so hopefully that'll be all right. Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put the majority of this in this main part because it obviously has the majority of the soap. Oh, it smells so good. Super low usage rate on this one as well. I love this low usage rate because it's really helping to extend my fragrance oils. All right, that one's starting to thicken up nicely. Get this party rolling a little faster than it is. I don't know what spoon was what anymore. Okay, so a little bit into there. I'm gonna watch this. I'd like to give it a quick blend. All right, then into here. Now this titanium dioxide is going to try to accelerate a little bit, and of course this one's getting blended a little bit more than the others. All right, let's get, oh boy. Don't want to do too much, just make sure it's blended. So what I'd like to do most of the time is go ahead and put in some of the base color. I just prefer that a lot of times for the in the pot swirls. So we'll get just a little bit in there. And then we're going to add in the rest of this color. Just gonna go over here, up high. So we're certainly not going to have that white accent, but I think this is still going to be really pretty. Now, thank goodness this is purple, because if it was pink, I'd probably be making meat soap right now. But thankfully, this is purple. Whew. This one got really thick. Super duper. The textures are going to be great though. I'm sure of it. We're going to take this spoon. We're going to try to shuffle this around a little bit so it doesn't just all pour out this light purple. So since it's so thick, it's really not going to overblend too much. This is definitely an accelerating fragrance. Faux Shizzle. One of my favorite designs ever was a Hey Dahlia batch. And it had really solidified like this. I was kind of bummed. And then the colors were just so amazing. That's super pretty. So now I've got to get this on and spread about. I probably should just kind of do a bit of a drizzle, that way I could get it spread more evenly with the spoon. This smells amazing. Worth it. One of my next batches that I'm hoping to do is my sunny beaches. So whew, now that's really a mover. I'm kind of nervous about it. I don't feel like I want to make that one. But I will probably tackle it all by itself on one day. That way I can really plan it out, really be good and prepared. I've made it several times in that beach design, so I know what I'm getting into. And I know that for the most part it's going to turn out beautiful. I'm just still nervous about it. I don't know if you can hear saws and pounding again. My men folk are working on the cabin today. Still working on the subfloor. That cold weather really delayed the process. All right. I actually think that looks really pretty, just as is. Just kind of swooshing it around like that. I don't think I really want to mess with it a whole lot more. I'm just trying to push a little bit into the corners. It's not really working. Okay, so here we have this wild and crazy lilac-y vibing lilac garden Montana lilac soap, and I will see you back here for the cut. Okay, so I'm back to cut this lilac soap, and it did go a little bit awry. The first thing was, I went ahead and split it already. The first thing is the top is very ashy, and I don't steam. I don't find that I get it good enough. I did spray with alcohol, it was covered, you know, all the things, and I still got ash. Sometimes it just happens. Now, like I said, I've tried steaming. I don't have luck with steaming. I think the best to get rid of ash is to wash it off, and I'm just not going to do that to my soap. So I have some ash on this batch. And then the other thing was, I don't know if you can kind of see the texture. It had a lot, I think it's trying to get me. It had a lot of air bubbles that were kind of just like lightly trapped under the surface. And then the next thing was the glycerin rivers. We have a lot of glycerin rivers in this batch. And I had thought that if I had to use extra water because I knew the lilac was going to move a little quicker. I thought, and it has been my experience in the past, that if even though I had the extra water, because it kind of gets thick fast, I don't usually have the glycerin river situation the same as it would be if it was a really thin trace. So the glycerin rivers, it's basically during like the heat and with like the gel portion, and then the gel process. And let's see, and the water, because I had the extra water, what it does is it just kind of, the color just kind of migrates a little bit. And it's no big deal. It's just a visual situation. It doesn't really affect the soap. Now when you wear it down, the parts with the big areas of like the glycerin rivers, it may wear down a little bit different. But that's it. It's not a big deal. It's still safe. Everything's great. It's just some of the colors migrated. So I'm going to move the camera down so that you can see us cut the bars. And I have not cut into any of the bars yet, so we'll just see what it looks like. All right, so let's go ahead and cut a loaf. And I'm trying to remember to incorporate a what would I have done different? Because that can help, you know, new soap makers, and also kind of helps people understand that I really do know what I'm talking about, and I don't always need advice because I do know what I would do different the next time. Just sometimes I forget different scenarios. And honestly, I think this was the Candle Science version. I think I would go back to Brambleberry's Lilac. I just think I prefer that one. I'm hoping it's focusing. That's actually really pretty and not as weird looking on that particular part as I thought it might be. This end is a little bit goofier. Oh gosh, I really hope it's focusing because I can't see from here. So I do think that some of this, like in this purple here, it does, I mean it's all purple, but it does kind of lighten up a little bit as it is exposed to the air. It's definitely more in the gone wonky department, and you know, that's all right. We can do that. People do love a good discount, don't they? I still think it's a beautiful, beautiful soap. I wish it would have gone a little bit differently. So what I would do different next time, I'm not gonna worry about cleaning my wires because I'm probably going to, I don't know, do something with these tops. What would I have done different? Well, first of all, I probably won't use this fragrance. Oh dear. This particular fragrance again. It's beautiful. It smells really good, but it's definitely a lilac garden. And I do love it, but I think it's better in wax than it is in soap. I think the lilac comes through a little bit more in soap. So I will, the lilac comes out better in wax. Keep it together. So I've had pretty good luck with the Brambleberry Lilac. I think I've only used it once. And so I just order things as I'm able. That's pretty. You can, if I can move this close enough. So right in here, you'll see where it's kind of devoid of color. That's the Glycerin River, partially. Anyway, it wasn't just something that I had in the top of my mind is to use the Brambleberry one. And so I was going through the Candle Science, what they had, because I love that they have the clean scents, and this is one of their clean scents. And so I wanted to use this one. So we'll see though, we'll see what y'all think, because sometimes my interpretation is different. And I do have a lot of scents here in the workspace. And so when I take something out of the workspace, it tends to be better and a lot more distinct. So it could be that I just need to go outside. Oh boy, I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have stopped. Oh, that's really pretty. See, I still think it turned out gorgeous. And if you're a purple lover and a lilac lover, I think you're going to adore this nonetheless. But in the whole scheme of things, the design is less than ideal. Just a little bit less than ideal. If I were to work with this particular fragrance again, I probably wouldn't actually do that with soap because I can't add a lot of extra water. Now, if I had refrained from using any titanium dioxide at all, then I might have been okay. But here's the problem. The problem is that most of the colorants do still have titanium dioxide in them, even though it's not just straight up, they do have that. So you will notice, let me show this to you now. So you'll remember I screwed up with my colors. So this This pinkier color does not have a straight titanium dioxide in it. And you can tell that there's not really any glycerin rivers in it. It's like very smooth color. It's just where this with the titanium dioxide and then this with the titanium dioxide, it did end up doing the glycerin rivers. So, anywho's it. Now, if you're a new soap maker and you're getting glycerin rivers, you know, don't worry about it. It's not a failure. You're cool. But if you don't like them, you know, you might want to try reducing the water in your batch. If you can do that without, you know, major acceleration. Try not even using titanium dioxide. Oh, this loaf is just a little bit taller. So, like, for example, here, look at that ash. And I actually just got an email that my steamer has been recalled because it is unsafe. It can burn people. I can see that. I mean, I'm always keep that in mind anywho's it's, but apparently I'll need to read further to see what they want me to do about that. But some people do steam them. I did steam some of my lavender soaps and it did not help with the ash. I think you just have to really soak them down and give them a good rubbing sometimes to get the ash off, but sometimes it just happens and that's just the way it is. So sometimes, okay, so the moral of the story here on this video is sometimes ash happens and sometimes titanium dioxide / glycerin rivers happen, and it's okay. And maybe this video will help you to be prepared for it the next time. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and lay these out on a tray. They need to go on the curing rack for 4 to 6 weeks at the very minimum before I list them. And so they're going to go on the curing rack. I'm going to line them all up onto the curing rack, and that's pretty much it. So I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye.